Hi everybody, this is Sean here, your RSA approved driving instructor with passfirsttime.ie, Ireland's online driving school. Welcome to this video where we're going to take a look at the mysterious second exit off of the roundabout. Now, we're going to take a look at some basic roundabouts. There are lots of variations, by the way. You could be here until well into next year looking at the variations. So there are larger roundabouts with more exits. There are spiral roundabouts. So if there are larger roundabouts or spiral roundabouts on the driving test in your area, please ask your own ADI, your own driving instructor, to go through them in detail and make sure you're familiar with them yourself. What we will take a look at is some basic roundabouts, some basic rules for you to follow regarding the second exit. On a standard 4-exit roundabout, which you have in front of you here, the second exit is straight ahead here. So it is straight ahead, and it can be the left or the right lane. And this is what causes the little bit of confusion. So if you were to take the first exit, for instance, a left turn, it's always the left lane on approach. No problem at all. If you were to take the third exit around to the right, it's a right turn. So it's always the right lane with the right signal, left signal to leave. And if you were to take the fourth exit, which is all the way around and back down, it's a right signal on the way in. And again, just before you pass this last island here, or as you pass it, signal left to leave, and away you go. So the 1, 3 and 4, those exits are standard. The one that varies is the second exit, this straight ahead exit, because it can be the left or the right lane. So let's take a look and see how you can figure out which lane it is. Now, the best way of all is be familiar with the roundabouts in your area for the driving test, and you will know in advance. But we don't always drive in our own areas, and presumably everybody will travel to a different roundabout in a different area at some stage. So it's important you know how to sort out which lane straight ahead is. Now, by default, if you have a 4-exit roundabout as we have in front of us, if there are no road markings, the second exit is the left lane by default. No road markings, straight ahead is the left lane. So let's have a look at that. You enter in the left lane, you yield to traffic on your right. You follow the left lane all the way around the outside. Now, this is important as well, because I see a lot of people pre-driving tests that come in the left lane beautifully, but then they cut straight across the roundabout. Particularly if it's a small roundabout, you will be tempted to do this. But don't do it. That would be a grade 3 error, a pretty much instant fail. Stay out to the left lane. Now, there is a little danger when you stay out to this left lane. The traffic coming down on your left here may think you're cutting off left a little late to the first exit, so just be careful and keep an eye on them. You roll up until you're roughly opposite the island here on the road just before the one you're going to take, and then you signal left and leave via the left-hand lane. So that's a standard 4-exit roundabout with the second exit straight ahead, no road markings, left lane by default. The other way of knowing this is that if it's a continuation of this road, so if this road and this road are all the one road just divided by the roundabout, it should in theory again be the left lane on approach. Let's look at times when it's going to be the right lane. The most common one is when there's an arrow here telling you that this is the going around to the right lane and the straight on lane. So it's both, and this lane will just have a turning left arrow in it. So on approach, if you're not familiar with the roundabout, you're looking for these arrows on the ground to give you an idea of which lane straight ahead is. If the lane on the right is blocked and you see that the left lane only has a left arrow in it, again by default process of elimination, you're saying, well, the right lane is the straight on lane, and when you roll up another little bit, you will normally see the straight on arrow in that lane. By the way, the reason they make the left lane solely for turning left is that if they feel a large volume of traffic, for instance, if this was the main road into town, will be using this lane, and there wouldn't be as much traffic using the right hand lane, then they'll make the right-hand lane, the straight-on lane as well. So let's take a look now at the path that you would take if you were going straight ahead using the right-hand lane. So you enter on the right, yielding to traffic on your right, and the same theory applies. You stay in the right-hand lane until you're reaching the first island on your left, and then you signal left and come off to the left-hand lane. That's your standard path on a 4-exit roundabout if it happens to be the right-hand lane for straight ahead. Another type of roundabout is a 3-exit roundabout. Plenty of these around the country. On a 3-exit roundabout, the left lane is standard. Left signal and staying to the left. The second exit, though, on a 3-exit roundabout is normally going to be around to the right. So if the second exit is around to the right on your 3-exit roundabout, you treat it as a right turn. So you enter on the right-hand lane with a right signal. You leave your right-hand signal until you come opposite the island on your left here, and then you signal left and come off to the left-hand lane again. So that's the second exit on a 3-exit roundabout. A mini roundabout, the second exit will be straight ahead here on this roundabout, but your road position, because the roundabout and the roads leading to it would be so small, would be more central. And your driving position going across the roundabout will be more central. You'll also touch on these arrows and sometimes maybe even on the centre circle, depending on the amount of room you have. Whether you signal left or not leaving a mini roundabout, it depends on how much time you have. I wouldn't prioritise putting on a signal and losing control of your car in a very confined small roundabout. If you do have sufficient time, yes, there's no problem putting on a left-hand signal to leave. But if you don't, I would prioritise keeping control of your car and leaving the roundabout to the left-hand side. A lot of roundabouts won't have marked lanes. As you can see, this mini roundabout doesn't. You have to imagine where the lanes are if there are no marked lanes. For instance, this roundabout clearly has a left and a right lane. But sometimes the roundabouts won't have marked lanes, but the rule of thumb is if you're staying in the left lane, you imagine where that left lane is. This is a good example here. And you stay left on approach. And if you're going around to the right again, you visualise where that right lane would be, and you stay more to the right on approach so that you're staying in the correct road position approaching your roundabout. Sometimes there isn't enough room at the mouth of the roundabout for 2 cars. This will vary. And the rule of thumb again is to check out all the roundabouts in your particular test area, get your local driving instructor to drive you around and look for any unusual roundabouts, any roundabouts that are outside of the norm, and practice those. So hopefully this has cleared up somewhat for you the confusion of the second exit at roundabouts. Just be very careful with them. Have them, if you're unclear of which lane you should be in approaching a roundabout for the second exit, stay in the middle of the road and approach until you can. Another way of knowing, by the way, is to see the cars in front of you. Look at the line of cars. Where are they going? You know, if you see all the cars in the right hand lane going straight ahead, you can decipher it from that as well. So look for little clues, little hints that are going to help you to decide which lane it is, and slow down enough so that you go into the correct lane at the roundabout. Thank you very much for listening and watching this video. The website, passfirsttime.ie. If you want more tips, just log on to the website, enter your email address there, and we'll send you out some more tips on the driving test. And also, please subscribe if you like these videos. We'll have more of them coming, lots more tips on the driving test. If you have any more questions, by the way, on the second exit, you can put them in the comment section below, or any more questions on the driving test, put them in the comment section and we will look at them and maybe even make a video on them for you. So thanks again. This is Sean, your RSA approved driving instructor, saying I'll see you in the next video.